How's it going, everybody? Jack here, and today we will be talking about the exciting 2023 catalog dropped recently from Trick or Treat Studios. From what I can tell, the catalog was uploaded exclusively to issue.com, though now it no longer appears to be there for me. But who knows, maybe it'll show up for somebody else. You might have seen a few screenshots floating around on Facebook and Instagram, but I wanted to do a little breakdown for you guys, specifically talking about the masks, but that's not all we'll cover. Okay, starting off with Michael Myers, we have a mask labeled The Mask, which, if you're unaware, was the name of the mask Don Post initially released in 1985 before they secured the rights to the Michael Myers name. The sculpt seen in the 2023 catalog, however, appears to be the death mask sculpted by Justin Mabry of Night Owl Productions. I believe the sculpt in question may have been an homage to Don Post's The Mask, but I could be wrong about that. Also seen in the image is text which reads pending licensor approval. So I suppose it'll be up to the licensor if we'll actually get to see this mask go into production, and I personally hope it does, as it would be a really awesome tribute to a classic mask. Next up, we have a page dedicated to some really cool Halloween Ends products, so we'll just talk about the new stuff one item at a time. We'll start with the new Halloween Ends Michael Myers costume, as seen here with mold and burns from the previous film. Nice weathering here and there, got some dirt on the knees it seems like. Now, if you're anything like me, you're going to want to make your own costume and aim for film accuracy. But if you're a normal person looking for a Halloween costume, this will probably be right up your alley. It's just not for me. Let's move on to the cat mask, as seen worn by Allison at the Halloween party. It honestly came as a shock to me to find out that the cat mask in Halloween Ends was actually made for the movie, as in my mind it would have been a lot easier to just go out and get a cat mask at Spirit Halloween or something. But I respect putting in the extra work and creating it from scratch, and now thanks to Trick or Treat Studios you can own one of your own. Alright, moving on to the Scarecrow mask, as seen worn by Corey Cunningham also at the Halloween party, as well as a few other scenes. Now this is something people in the Michael Myers mask community have been wanting ever since the movie came out. In fact, I've seen quite a few people frustrated that it wasn't released alongside the Halloween Ends Michael Myers mask. But it looks like their frustrations are over because now the mask has finally been released, and I'm sure it'll make a lot of people very happy. This next page is one that myself and many others are very excited about, the long-awaited Trick or Treat Studios run of Michael Myers masks from the Rob Zombie Halloween films. Now, regardless of your opinions of these movies, you have to admit, the masks were great. Rumors have been floating around about these masks for a long time, so it's great to finally get a first look at them. Up first, we have the 92 Murder Mask, which is a clean version of the mask from the Halloween remake worn by child Michael Myers before it was buried under the floorboards. The name of this mask also made me realize that the beginning of the Halloween remake takes place in 1992, which is a lot more obvious now in hindsight. I always assumed it was in the 70s or 80s because that's just how it looked to me, but I guess that's just Rob Zombie's whole aesthetic. Next, we have the rotted version of the mask from the Halloween remake. This is the mask seen in the majority of the film worn by adult Michael Myers. I personally love this look, but a lot of people dislike it for depicting an unrealistic take on a rotting latex mask, which would have more than likely melted into a pile of goop under the floorboards. I suppose the notion of a mask surviving the way it did was just too unrealistic for some people to enjoy their movie about a supernatural killer who can't die. Following the remake masks, we have the Dream Mask, which is from Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, specifically from the dream sequence which opened the movie. I'd personally like for there to be a little more blood on the side, but hey, that's just me. Still a great looking mask. And next up, we have another mask from Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, the half-exposed version this time. This is the mask worn by Michael Myers later on into the movie. I remember seeing the half-exposed mask on so much merchandise and marketing back in 2009, well into the 2010s. It's hard to believe that this was the final version of Michael Myers, all the way up until 2018 when the franchise was revived. In the new Rob Zombie Halloween line, we have a couple new knives too. First off, we have the 92 Murder Knife, which was used by child Michael Myers, and next up we have the Butcher Knife, which was used in the rest of the film by adult Michael Myers. We also have the Bowie Knife, which was the knife used by Michael Myers in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. And the most exciting part is that these masks will actually derive from the screen-used molds, coming from Wayne Toth himself, aka the man who sculpted the masks in the remake. Of course, as with any mass-produced mask, we will have to wait and see how the paint and hair vary from the images in the catalog, and this is to be expected, and there are plenty of overhaul artists that you can commission. When I was younger and dumber, I used to be really uptight about how different Trick or Treat Studios masks looked in the marketing compared to the end product. But I came to understand that it's not really their fault. These guys have to put images of their product out there in order to generate interest. A lot of the time, a copy from the factory is not yet obtainable. This is because interest needs to be generated simultaneously with the products being made. This leaves the guys over at Trick or Treat Studios only with the prototypes to use for their marketing, which are not mass-produced and therefore of a higher quality. On this next page, we have a few new Universal Monster products. Now, I don't have much information on these products, but let's just take a look at them anyway. Up first, you have the new Mummy Deluxe Injection. Next, we have the Mask of the Red Death, and finally, my favorite new product on this page is the Bride of Frankenstein wig, which I think will look great for any costume. Now we have an entire page dedicated to some new masks from the Mummy. Up first, we have a Cursed Imhotep, looking nice over there with his unhinged jaw. Looks like he could benefit from some mouthwash to me. Next, we have the Unearthed Imhotep, which has a really cool decayed look, again with an unhinged jaw and sporting some yellow teeth this time. Next, we have the Plaguebringer Imhotep, and I like this one a lot. Look at that nice mouth full of flies. And finally, the Prince Imhotep, who's looking all nice and metallic. He seems to look a little rough too. He kinda looks like some pots and pans in my kitchen right now. These are some cool looking masks. I think that my favorite is the Plaguebringer, because what's better than a mouthful of flies? Now we have a page dedicated to Cheney Entertainment, but the only new product on this page is the Phantom Humanoid mask, which is nice and eerie looking. This is certainly a great piece for any classic horror collector. Next, we have a page dedicated to the Munsters. New for 2023 is a line from the new Rob Zombie version of the Munster family, with Herman, Lillian, and Grandpa. On each product is a disclaimer, once again stating under licensor approval. So again, we are at the mercy of the licensor signing off on these masks. This page features the Ultimate Chucky doll. We have a couple new products on this page. We have the new Good Guy Tommy headset, which comes with a new head and a pair of hands for your Ultimate Chucky doll if you decide you want to convert yours into the Tommy doll seen in Child's Play 2. That's the doll Chucky buries under the swing set. This next set is awesome. We have the Pizza Face headset, which again comes with a new head and a pair of hands for your Ultimate Chucky doll. This time you would be converting your Ultimate Chucky into how Chucky looked during the climax of Child's Play 3 when he got half of his face sliced off. This is some really cool stuff. There is one new product on this next page, and it's the Grabber Mask set from the Black Phone. This set will include all three versions of the mask, which is really cool that they aren't going to make you purchase each one separately. You of course have the most well-known version of the mask, which is the Smiling Mask, as well as the Frowning Mask, and finally, the mask without a mouth at all. 2023 also marks the return of products from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which has me really excited. I was incredibly disappointed to see the license go, but now it's back and I couldn't be happier. We'll be seeing a return of all the previously discontinued masks from the 1974 film sculpted by incredible artist Connor DeLess. The props and costumes from the film are making a return as well. We'll also be seeing a return of all the masks, costumes, and props from the other films in the Chainsaw franchise, such as the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, the remake, and Texas Chainsaw 3D. There is actually one new product from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre that has me the most excited. It's the 1974 chainsaw prop. They're finally releasing it. This chainsaw prop was initially teased by Trick or Treat Studios in their 2018 catalog, but for one reason or another, it never saw the light of day. 5 years later in 2023, it looks like we'll finally get it. If you like attending conventions in costume like I do, you want to have a prop that won't get you in trouble. Years back, you could get away with sneaking in a real chainsaw, but most conventions have started getting really stingy with what you're allowed to use as a prop, so something like this will be incredible for that. Not to mention, it will be great for anyone who doesn't want to spend endless time and money hunting down an original Poland 245A. Next up, we have a single product new for 2023, and it's the Cobra Commander mask from G.I. Joe. Now you can scream Cobra before attacking your enemies. Remember, violence and children's content is okay as long as there is a PSA at the end of every episode. I actually really like when Trick or Treat Studios makes more than just horror products, as they're usually really awesome. Next page features Dungeons and Dragons, and we have 3 new masks for this line. First up, we have Dritz, and I don't think he's in a good mood based on his furrowed brow. And I gotta say, that is a really well sculpted expression. Sculpting expressions takes a lot of talent. Looks like we'll also be getting the Warduke helmet. I can already hear children calling this guy Blue Mandalorian. I like the texture of the ears. I wonder what they'll be made out of. Last new mask on this page is the Pit Fiend, and man, that is one great looking mask. I mean, that could really traumatize a child. Which I advocate for. We should be traumatizing more children. The next page features The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, and we will be getting 3 new masks from this line. First up, we have Bert the Troll, and this mask actually upsets me. In fact, Trick or Treat Studios might be facing a lawsuit for using my likeness without my permission. Following Bert the Troll, we have Gothmog, a great-looking sculpt with a lot of detail. Finally, we have Snaga, and I love those eyes, they really pop. I believe this next page contains the last of the new masks, but I could be wrong. I wasn't able to obtain a copy of every page of this catalog before it ultimately disappeared for me, so I apologize for anything that I might have missed. First up is a Reagan mask from The Exorcist, and all I can say is that it looks incredible. I wonder if they'll eventually release a pea soup vomit variety. Next up is a couple masks from The Corpse Bride. We got Emily and Victor in all their Tim Burton-y glory. I was never a huge fan of The Corpse Bride, but these masks look cool. And that wraps up all the new masks from 2023. Let's move on to some other cool stuff. On this page, we have the hook hand prop as seen worn by Tony Todd in Candyman. This would be a fine asset to any Candyman costume or a great part of any horror collection. Moving forward, we have a new wolf pup doll. They're calling this one Toby. I love these little guys, I think they're cute, but I understand people who think they're kinda creepy. Okay, now we have some brand new 1/6 scale figures. On this page, we got Sam from Trick or Treat, who's looking pretty awesome, and next to Sam, we can see a group of trick-or-treaters from Halloween 3. Now that would be an awesome crossover, wouldn't it? It looks like we'll also be getting a couple of new Michael Myers figures. Up first, we have Michael Myers from Halloween H2O, which was the first attempt to bring Laurie Strode back into the franchise, though it would not be the last. Up next, we have Michael Myers from Halloween Resurrection, which everyone knows is the greatest entry in the Halloween franchise. Moving on from the Halloween franchise, we have a figure of everyone's favorite character from Return of the Living Dead, Tar-Man, who's looking nasty as usual. I'm sure this announcement is going to make a lot of people happy. Up next, we have some 8-inch figures. First off, we've got Shorty, Slim, and Fatso from Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Next to those guys are Pumpkinhead and Candyman. And on the end, we've got Michael Myers, Farmer Vincent, and Jacob Atkins. This page has some 5-inch figures for us, 2 products of which are new for 2023. Up first, we have the 5-inch Art the Clown figure with a bloody color-changing action. We can also see a brand new collector's case for the House of a Thousand Corpses figures. And we are going to finish off this video with some 3.75-inch figures. We've got Jacob and Dr. Death, Clown and Devil, Vampire and Witch, Isaac and Malachi, and finally, Ghost and Zombie. And that is going to wrap things up here, everybody. I think 2023 is going to be a great year for collectors everywhere, and I'm looking forward to it. I have a couple of projects in the works that I hope you guys will enjoy, but maybe this video will suffice in the meantime. I hope you got something out of this video, and I appreciate you watching. Make sure to check out my other content and subscribe if you liked what you see. Thanks for stopping by, fellow weirdos.